to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
This is Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with
Bobby Amaru from Saliva.
Brad Stewart from Saliva.
Nice. Here at Louder Than Life. Were you guys louder than life here at Louder
It was
Than Life?
wetter than life,
Yeah.
I think.
Well,
Thankfully,
today
was
the good-
not. So
yeah,
we
today was
we were
the good
okay
day.
with it. Yeah, yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
fucking Slayer got canceled.
I know a lot of people are so bummed out about that. I almost wore my Slayer shirt today in honor of that, but I was like, I don't know. I don't want to like make people feel like shit, you know?
I had a Slayer shirt I brought, then I bought one, and I think now I have to get like a Sharpie and mark off one of the dates because it has all 3 dates on there. But I'm waiting until Aftershock to see if Aftershock they play at.
I'll tell you what, they may not have played, but they killed it in merch because everybody has a Slayer shirt on.
Oh, yeah. They didn't need to play.
Right.
Everybody bought their merch. I saw them last Sunday when I was covering Riot Fest.
Yeah.
And oh, my God.
Yeah.
I'm
it's
glad
only
I-
one of 2 they've done this year or whatever?
Yeah,
Like, right?
they're doing 3.
3 shows, right?
Riot Fest, Louder Than Life, Aftershock.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now it's one of 2.
Wow.
We'll see if we get one of
Always loved
3.
that band, man.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it real.
I was at their first show ever.
Like at the Whiskey or something? Or
Yeah, one of those fucking places in L.A. Like, I was at their first show ever, Metallica's first show ever. Motley played last night. I was at their shows before they had an album, before they became weird.
How old were you then? 8 back then?
No, I'm 57, man.
Oh, man. You
Yeah,
don't look
so-
57. You look good. Damn.
Thanks.
I got to follow the routine, man.
There you go. I grew up in Jersey, and my dad moved me to California in 1980, like the perfect time to move to California because I lived on the Sunset Strip during those 80s. And you know what they say, if you can remember what happened, you weren't there.
Yeah. Man, I bet you had some good times back then.
Oh, yeah. Serious good times. So it's kind of wild to watch them now after 5 years and go like, fucking hey, look at all these people. I was in a club with 20 people watching them. You know, it's so...
Slayer or Crew?
Slayer.
Slayer, yeah.
Crew, too. They were at the Roxy. Maybe there was 100 people. Like there were empty seats
Yeah.
type of thing because the Roxy had the seats around going around. But they tried to burn the Roxy down to bring Satan in. Yeah, they weren't glam yet.
Yeah.
But you guys, you've been killing it forever, too. So, like, man.
Been working at it, man. Saliva's one of those things that it's like, won't go away, I guess.
I know, right?
We have fun. You know, I got in the band 2011, and really it was like those guys, Paul, Wayne, and Dave, they were looking for somebody that really just could create, there was something different. They wanted like this younger like thing, and we're like, how do we get to the kids and stuff? And I think that it just somehow it gelled. You never know when you get a new singer, like what's going to happen, or how things are going to happen. Or sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, look at Motley Crue as an example. Karabi was...
And I love that record. That's a great record.
But he wasn't really Crue. Mm-hmm. You know, it may have been good, but it wasn't that sound. I guess it didn't go over well with the fans that were Crue fans.
They just shouldn't have called it Motley Crue, man. They could have made a whole nother band out of that thing. I thought it was a great record, right? But it just wasn't. The fans were like, they're used to the blonde guy out there doing his shit.
That was a great impression.
Sorry.
In fact,
I couldn't resist.
Wait, that was better than Vince Neil did last night, okay? But,
you know, like, they've been around a long time, And that stuff ain't easy to sing anyway, man. You know,
No.
think about it. Like,
You can't keep that voice forever.
No, you just can't, dude. Especially when you've done all the partying and stuff through all those years. Some people still have that shit. Steven Tyler, dude.
Except he just had
Right,
to retire
yeah.
because his voice is
But
gone.
last time I heard him sing, he still was killing it, man. Like, you
Wow.
know, some guys can do every drug in the book and still have a voice. I've witnessed people do that and be like, how the fuck are they doing that? And when I used to drink and stuff, if I were to like day drink, I would not have a voice that night. Like, I
Wow.
just wouldn't. My voice would shut down.
I wonder too, especially, you know, like when you're doing those screams like they do in Crew and other bands, like how do you do that after partying like that and smoking and everything
You have
else?
to take care of your voice.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, fans are paying money to see the show. You got to give them a show. You got to be on your best
Yeah.
performance, I think, man. Especially when you do shows like this, like us. I mean, played at 2 o'clock, right? And doesn't matter if you play at 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 10 in the morning, whatever. You know, you embrace the opportunity, and these people came from all over.
And there were a shitload of people out there for you at 2
And
o'clock.
that's your 30 minutes or whatever to just make someone smile and have a good time, dude. And that's important.
And that's the key to a festival. I think a festival is about you guys playing to people that may have never heard you before.
Right, yeah.
And then they're like, holy shit,
Right.
how come I didn't know about this?
That's what music is, energy, man. They want to feel something. Like,
Yeah.
it's not about, like, if they've never even seen it before, it's like, convince me. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, all right, this was cool. Even if you're not a fan of the particular style or band or whatever, and you're here to see Slayer or whatever, is if you walk away going, man, I thought Saliva did good, you know, or one of the 20 bands that you liked, dude, then we're doing something right.
And you know what's interesting about that is usually when you do that, the fans out there, somebody like me is like, man, they killed it today. And you're going backstage and going, fuck, that was terrible. Right? You know?
That happened today. Too.
Right? You're your own worst critic. But
you
nobody
move on.
notices.
You got to move on. Like, you know, just as long as they had a good time out front still. That's the thing. I mean, you're never going to have a perfect show.
Yeah.
A lot of things kind of come into play to make your show happen. Every band's different.
Yeah.
You have to just go out there and still do it and own it and get through the kinks and just fingers crossed and throw a Hail Mary and hope that it's all good, you know?
And, you know, most people don't notice what you're noticing. It's kind of like my radio station, my head engineer, he passed away a couple years ago, but he was so good and he had such an ear that we would sit there and he's like, do you hear that? I'm like, no, we need to fix that. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know what the fuck he was hearing, but it didn't sound good. So, like, that was him being overcritical of his mixing the sound. Meanwhile, me, I didn't even notice, and probably nobody listening noticed, but he did.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And
It's all about being a professional, dude.
Yeah.
You got to be a pro up there, and even if it's the whole thing is caving in on you, you got to put it on and just go out there and do it, dude. We didn't fly here and go through this and that to not do it. So
Yeah.
you got to get out there and do it and kick its ass. I mean, we had some problems today. Like, we were on late. There was some issues on stage, but we got up there. We played the songs. Those of us that could hear ourselves, he had no in-ear mix.
Oh.
Like, it was crazy, but thankfully he could hear himself like through the mains and through the monitors and stuff. But our drummer had no click, so he had to give his pack to her, and it was just this whole thing that we're just like, come on, man.
And those
Like,
are the
dude.
things people don't realize you go through.
No,
that
I
happens
know.
more than you'd like it to happen.
And it would have been nice if it would have just, everything would have worked.
these are the shows you don't want that to happen at, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you only have limited time, too. But look, man, I had a freaking blast.
Yeah.
It was a great fucking time.
We did.
I went up there and was like, dude, I don't need any of that shit. Just fucking do it. Let's get it.
That's
going.
key.
And that's it, dude.
There was a band that played, I think at Riot Fest, that same thing. Their in-ear wasn't working, and they just like, you could tell they just said, fuck it. Ripped it out and threw it on the stage and just went about their
Yeah,
business.
that's it's rock and roll, man. It ain't perfect. you
That's
know?
it, but that is a true professional because the show must go on,
Right,
regardless.
Unless you have laptops, and then you can't make the show because of the laptops. I'm not mentioning names.
Well, what I'm going to say What I'm going to say about that is I was very thankful for that because, oh my God, Till Lindemann was fucking insane.
He knew what I was talking about.
Fucking insane. And here's the pro. Till got fucking canceled because of the rain yesterday and hung out, wasn't expecting to play. This shit happens last minute. He's like, yeah, I'll go do it. Like, that's a pro to me. That's a pro to me.
Right.
They could have called us too. Just saying.
Next time, hey, Danny, next time call Saliva.
We would have had problems. We would have had problems.
But you would have played it. But to me, that is what music always used to be. It's the fuck-ups happen live, and that was part of it.
And look, I don't want to discredit the band that Brad is probably talking about because I think that band's doing a lot of things right. They're at the top of the game when it comes to the festivals. Their fans killing it in merch. They're doing all the things correct. And there's probably 35, 40 people working for them and stuff. So on stage. So there's a lot that goes into making that stuff work and making that stuff, the show happen and pyro and all this other stuff. That it's like their show and their business is their business. And like, you know, if they make the show, they don't. I mean, look, you cheat the fans either way.
Yeah.
That wanted to see you no matter what. But the fans, they're so invested in the songs and loving that band that they don't think about all the things that really go into making the show happen.
No, not at all.
So, and that's really nobody's fault. I mean, so yeah, you'd be like, oh, the band should still play or whatever. But there's probably things going on that, you know, that none of us know about. That there's
It's also a different type of band, so.
Used to be, oh, all right, Led Zeppelin can't play tonight. Robert Plant's sick. He's got the flu. He can't sing. And people would still be like, oh, man, that's so messed up. But it's like, Robert Plant needs his voice to sing Led Zeppelin songs. And then you get cheated for paying all the money to see him not be able to sing when you know he can. So it's kind of like, you know, it's a tough thing in this business.
Bad Flower did something at DWP Festival that I thought was cool as shit. Josh had laryngitis, so he couldn't sing.
That guy's great, though. He can sing.
Fucking they did a show anyway.
Yeah.
With no singing, he had the crowd singing.
Yeah.
He had the crowd was singing all the songs, and he was playing guitar, and they were playing, and so many people were like, that was the most memorable show ever because that was a one-off.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen
Those
again.
moments, man. My daughter really likes them, and I took her to see them in a club in Gainesville, and I was super impressed, very impressed. I was like, wow, like I'd never really heard them.
How old's your daughter?
13.
Okay, I don't know if you know about this.
She's right there.
She would love it.
Yeah.
They have Heelys. I have them.
Yeah.
Bad Flower Heelys.
What is it?
Bad Flower Heelys.
Like
It's
shoes?
those shoes that are skates.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
We got to get on our game with that, bro. What?
Right?
Yeah,
The Saliva Heelys.
yeah.
Gotta make. What else could we make for cool merch for Saliva? Something unique. What would you want as some unique merch that you've never done?
Maybe some dip. You know, Saliva.
Oh, God.
We do have a lot of Southern fans.
That is actually kind of brilliant to be honest. Okay. Oh, that's funny. Some Saliva dip. There it is.
Maybe some bandits. You know, those little ones you put right
Oh yeah, I tried those when I was younger. I was like, that's gross. Like, I don't know how people do this shit. Like, I was a smoker, but I put those bandits in. I'm like, ew, that tastes terrible. Give me my Marlboro. So tell everybody how they can buy your merch. That's important. Connect with you guys and all, and check your live shows and all
There's
that.
merch on saliva.com, and we got a lot of things brewing right now. We're about to drop a new single
Nice.
November 1st. So
Wow.
we're getting ready for that. And
I'm always impressed that bands that have been around as long as you have can still write music. Like, it just impresses me. Like,
you know, I feel like it's important for bands to put out new music for their hardcore fans too. And you never know
and for
who you're gonna.
yourself.
You never know who you're gonna turn on to. You know, something new that hadn't heard the band or whatever.
For yourself, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Because as an artist, it's got to be boring when you're not creating new and just focusing on the stuff you've always had.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, honestly, because then you're not growing as a band, and you're just kind of, you become nostalgia at that point, and no one wants that. I mean, even if it doesn't become the next click, click, boom or whatever, you still need to grow and progress and work with different producers and mixers and different bands and writers even. I mean, when, 20 years ago, a lot of rock bands didn't write with writers. Some did, but like these days, it's almost like the country thing where there's writers and they help like rock bands make songs, and some bands still keep it in-house. But I mean, it's still healthy to grow that way, I think, and co-write with people and talented people that are kind of have their thumb on like the pulse of what's happening in music now, because they've written recently hits, killer songs with great artists. I think it's definitely important, man. I mean, we kind of have gone through that in different times in this band since I've been in it for almost 10 years now. So it's cool. Sometimes we write everything, and then sometimes we're like, hey, let's see if whoever's around that we jive with that wants to maybe see if maybe he's got something that would work for us, and then Bobby or I or somebody will figure it out, I think it's important though, man, like, because when you stop that, now all you're stuck with is the past.
Yeah.
You got to keep moving forward, dude. I mean,
It becomes stale if you're the artist, and not only that, but probably you're the best at your craft that you've ever been, so why wouldn't that be the time you write music?
Sometimes it's good to do that. You can kind of get a new resurgence. Like, I think it's healthy to co-write sometimes, because it doesn't matter where the song comes from. Some of the greatest songs that we've ever heard were co-written. Look at all the Aerosmith 80s stuff and Living on a Prayer and a lot of these big songs, and also helps bands evolve, and I think it's a good thing.
The bar too,
Well, I can't wait for your new music, and man, I'm so happy you were here at Louder. You're going to be at Aftershock too, right?
We are not at Aftershock.
Oh, you're not at Aftershock.
Yeah, we are not at Aftershock. But
unless someone gets rained
well,
out.
Yeah, well, I'm sending Danny a message.
Please.
That you should be at Aftershock. But thanks for being here at Louder, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.